Okay, so time to put the hinge on, and the hinge is, of course, these two pins with a little tube in between, and we'll set that up right here. I'm going to leave just a little bit of space, and what I want to do is preheat the oops, that's not right. Let's move it over just a little bit. And we're just eyeballing those. It's not like it's got to be a accurate situation. And what I have to do is just preheat these so that we get a decent weld. There we go. That should do the trick. Alright, we're going to start by welding the center point. Nice clean weld. Now we'll come back around and do the bottom. And this time I'm going to just do a tack first. See how everything works. Well, the tack didn't hold. A little bit tight. There we go. Yeah, we got some messing around to do to get that thing to loosen up completely, but so far I think we're we've got a good start. Okay, we've cut these two pieces of round stock, a ½ inch and looks like what, 3/8 maybe, and basically we just put it in the lathe, and I just need to round one side. Let's see what that's going to look like. And we can round one side. I've got a radius tool here that'll work pretty well for that. It isn't the exact radius that I want, but it's good enough, and it'll give it a nice kind of a, you know, homemade rough finish. Spin that tool around. Oops, hang on here. We're going to have to move you a little bit. Get out of the way of the carriage. Okay. Oops. We're going to want to go the other way, because we're cutting from the back side. Come on in and just round that off just a tad. It doesn't, we're not looking at, as I said, we're not looking at perfection here, just to give it a little bit of roundness. And then take the little piece and flip it around and do the same thing on the other side, except this side we just want to kind of get a chamfer in there so we can get a decent weld. So if I just come in, whoops, wrong way again. Just come in and put a good sized chamfer in there, and then we can get a reasonable weld when that goes up against the plate. Take that one out, put this one in. Yep. And this one we're just kind of come in a little bit and then go the other direction a little bit and then come back and round it off a bit more. And this one kind of wants to get a little bit more roundy because this is the bottom of the handle. But again, I'm not sweating it. I'm just kind of giving it just a little bit more action. And I'd say if we come in with our file and just kiss that bottom edge, we'll get it to kind of round up a little bit. There we go. We got one more. Flip this around, and we need to set the step to go through the door and to attach to the latch. Drop that in. Of course, we dropped our tool, so now we've got to figure out what happened to it. There it is. Here's the tool. we're going to go in about 30. Take it in about a half an inch. And I'd say that's probably pretty good. Another 30. One more 30, and we're going to give you another view here. Let's bring you in a little bit different angle. One more 30. Back it up, come in and square up that inside edge, and then a little bit of firework, and we're set to go. Alright, that's that for that, and we'll do 8 more of those and come back. Okay, so we placed an X in the center where we want to drill the hole, and we're going to just set the plate down on here and drill straight into it. No pilot holes, no nothing. This is down and dirty. And I hang on to it so it doesn't get away from me. There's our hole. Done deal. And we got 8 more of those, and we'll be back. And since we drilled the hole and didn't ream it, the hole's a little bit out of round. But you know, in this case, it doesn't really matter. This is probably in pretty good shape, but I'm going to give it a little bit of hit it just a little bit with the rat tail file. Make sure we got lots of room here, so that it's real sloppy. Yeah, it doesn't look good right now, but we're going to bring a washer up behind it here and weld that washer in place, and that'll hold this thing pretty solid. So we'll go get the washers and be back in a minute. The handle in place, and you can kind of see the handle back here sticking straight out, but we have to get it fairly tight, and we have to be able to get it so that the washer is holding up against the handle and it's, you know, nice and square. And the only way I can figure to do that is to build a little gasket to slide in behind the washer, and then to tack weld the washer in place, and then that way as the thing heats up, the paper disintegrates, or you know, half burns up or whatever, and falls away, and then we have the finished piece. So let's go ahead, warm this baby up. Do a little tack weld right here where it's needed. Break the pliers loose. Get a nice tight rotation. And the paper is starting to burn, which is what we want. Come on, paper. And it just basically slide out, and we've got a reasonably snug handle, easy to deal with, and that's going to rotation. So next thing we need to do is, and we'll just do this all at once. Let's go ahead and heat our handle up. Get a nice warm handle and grab it with the pliers and just start pulling on it. Now we don't want it down all the way, but we want it down most of the way, and that looks pretty good right there. So we'll let that cool. Let's do 7 more of these, and there's our door and our handle. Now we still have to weld a little hook right here to go behind the door and hold the door closed when it's not being, when it's closed, so that it doesn't accidentally fall open. Well, I think we're going to just let the handle cool off first, and then come in and do that. So let's go ahead and do the other 7 of these, and we'll be back. Okay, Nick Collier here. It's the next morning, or maybe a couple of mornings later, and it rained last night. The air is fresh and clear, and I'm going to, pollute the air a little bit by torching off about an inch of this 10 gauge steel here, and that's going to allow us to make baffles for the inside of each one of these wood stoves. So let's get out the torch and whip it out. Okay, we got the piece of metal cut, and now we get rid of it. And since it's hot, I'm going to use the tongs to pick it up, just so it doesn't melt any wires laying around here. Alright, so we've got a free piece of metal, and we'll go ahead and cut 2 or 3 lengths of that, and those will fit inside to create the baffles.